Good. Yeah.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushua, Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brothers from Great Millstone, Atlanta. You know, we have a lesson going into basically at the vision within one another, basically envisioning the truth or the kingdom of heaven within the country. You know, because we were basically just discussing a little bit earlier about how Esau, even on the left-hand side, how there's a hierarchy, how there's a rank and checks and balances. And these devils at the top of the food chain, they'll push out orders, decrees, and the ones that's the understudies or in the lesser, whether they're lesser luminaries in a lesser office of these elevated devils, they'll trust in the vision. You know, they'll trust in the plans. They'll execute it. They won't second guess it. They won't question it. They just do that which is required of them because they believe that the individuals above them are actually pushing the agenda for the betterness of whatever they're trying to create. And these devils do it in plans of wickedness. All right, more us brothers that's in looking to establish righteousness. You know, in the times to come, you know, it's going to be things that's going to wire, and you have to trust in the man that's right beside you. You know, especially brothers that's been around with the level of seniority, starting with the apostles and elders, pushing out certain decrees in the spirit. You know, you have to listen to that because, like it says, that the elders are worthy of double honors because they watch for your soul. And it goes even to brothers in these different states, whether Texas, Florida, and you know, of course, New York and DC here in Georgia, you know, California, Chicago, so on and so forth. You know, you have leaders and established elders in all these different churches, and they have, you know, they push certain decrees, they push out certain things for the betterment of the younger men. And as a younger man, you have to listen and take those steps and follow those steps without second guessing them. You know, get out of that stubborn spirit, get out of that, well, you know, I believe that I should try it this way. Maybe if this don't work, then I'll listen to him after. Nah, listen to the brother that's around you, you know, especially if it's a brother that's experienced in that particular area. If he's already dealt with certain situations similar to you, and he's giving you sound advice that's backed by the scriptures and backed by pure sound wisdom, man. So, right. You know, we're going to jump into the scriptures and, you know, to support what we're basically going to.
This is 1 Corinthians 12 and 28. And the Most High had set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers,
right. After
that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversities of tongues.
And that's levels, like the apostles always speak about. There's levels to this truth. And like I said, first and foremost, you have apostles. Even during that time of Yahushua and the apostles, you know, that was the governing body of the churches of Israel at that time. And you had, you know, different individuals that were to come up under that rule of those apostles. Whatever they said through the spirit, that was what was the established word, you know, and it was, you know, it's etched in the book for men to read and to follow unto this day. And there was a lot of rebukes. There was a lot of correction, you know, from the apostles personally. You know, Paul himself, he rebuked a lot of churches, whether they were in Corinth, Galatia, Ephesus. He gave them certain instructions with a sharp tongue. And it was men that actually read those letters and they got cut up in the spirit. And a lot of men took heed and a lot of men didn't take heed on the aftermath. Some men still wanted to follow after the lust and the desires of the flesh. And you had certain men that took heed and was like, you know, this is from the Apostle Paul. He's anointed by the Spirit of Hamashiach Yahushua. He's not just speaking through emotions. He's a established elder. What he's saying is true. We should put away fornication within our churches. We should you know, disdain from the following of idols and the impure practices and follow the fullness of this ministry so that we'll be guided to safety rather than listening and conducting ourselves like whether Romans or Greeks, so on and so forth. You see? So it's the same thing in these days now. You know, you have brothers that give you, you know, certain orders according to the measurement of the spirit. And sometimes it comes softly and sometimes it comes very aggressively. But you have to take that brother beside you and you have to look at him and recognize that this brother is basically a up and coming ruler.
Right. Yep.
You know,
yep.
He's not just any nigga from around the way, no cigarette Newport Negro that's just a armchair commentator, man. You know, he's just watching from the outside looking in. He's in the game, man.
That's right. Yeah, and you know, just seeing that having that level of respect for your brother, you know, is key. All right, because they're always going to lead you, you know, in the right direction. All right, we know that the Lord basically uses his men, all right, to counsel you and to guide you. The scriptures tell you right here. It says, I'll read it again. 1 Corinthians 12:28 says, the Most High had set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers. So you have different gifts, okay, different offices, you know, where the Most High basically set up men over you to guide you and push you in the right direction. And a lot of times, you know, what Jake will do a lot of times is, you know, be real self-willed and want to do it their way instead of you know, going and seeking advice from the men that the Lord set over you. You know, it says,
or a lot of Jake try to tailor the advice to themselves. Like, no, I shouldn't take advice from this brother because he's gonna give me what I need to hear. Let me go to this brother and let me try to persuade him and ask him the question and ask him for counsel, but insert certain points so it could persuade him to actually lean towards my lust. That's wickedness, man. You know, you have to actually, if you desire counsel, you have to lay it out not on a point of biasness, from a aspect and position of truth. Keep going.
It says, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversity of tongues.
It spoke about governments, which this is an established government. You know, you have the cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai, and he laid the foundation upon men. And it spoke about in Galatians how you had James, Cephas, and John that were the pillars of the churches even back then, and it's the same thing now. The word govern is the rule, and ment is the mental, your mind. So the ruling of your mind. You have brothers that have a particular rule over your mind through the spirit, and either you're going to follow the spiritual government or you're going to follow this carnal government. Either you're going to attach to the ideals and the philosophies of this Egyptian empire, the new Egypt, or Israel, man. So it's like you only have two choices because you have anywhere you go, anything that you're a part of, it has a particular rule over your spirit, man. There is no freedom, so to speak. There is no free will. And it's checks and balances. It's laws, statutes, and commandments. And brothers are going to judge certain things according to the laws. That's why the scripture says that we're a nation full of kings and priests. And every time a brother gives counsel, what do they back it by? The scriptures.
Right.
This is the standard that each brother goes by. And if a brother is not speaking according to thus saith the Lord, then he's just going according to his own spirit and his own heart. But if a brother is actually saying certain things to you, you know, and backing each and every point by specific wisdom that men already outlaid in the scriptures, whether it's Solomon in the book of Proverbs, whether you know, Peter in the book of Peter's, John, that's the men that he's relying on for counsel to give to you. So if you're denying that brother's word, you're not just denying him, you're denying what Peter said, man. You're denying what John said. You're denying what Yahweh Shai said. If the brothers is backing up certain points through the book of Matthew and the book of Mark and Luke, and it's coming through the words of Yahweh Shai, and you, whatever, man. You're not coming against that brother, man.
I appreciate it.
You got it.
Just going off what the brother was just saying. This is Paul speaking to the church of Thessalonica. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "For our exhortation was not of deceit, nor of uncleanliness, nor in guile, but as we were allowed of the Most High to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but the Most High, which trieth our hearts."
Right, because we all are sacrifices, man. We putting ourselves on as an atonement on this altar, and its requirements. The Lord required us to teach this gospel and to lead each other to the pasture. All right, and just like Paul said, it wasn't in the spirit of guile, it wasn't in the spirit of deceit, preaching for the sake of getting money. Because at the end of the day, when you give brothers counsel and you give brothers sound wisdom and tell them and direct them to the path, ultimately you're not gaining finances, you're not gaining physical treasures off of the acts that you do. You're putting and investing your energy in it though. You're investing your time in it though. So that's why even on the exchanging end or the receiving end, a brother that's listening, you have to understand that brother's coming through a spirit of sincerity. That's the reason why he's actually talking to you about certain things, and that goes right back to the point of the kingdom, man.
So like you got, if I can say too, the scriptures speak about wisdom being better than rubies. Love to paraphrase. So at the end of the day, that brother is trying to give you wisdom, and understanding. So that's better than any kind of money, or any or jewelry or anything that you can get, man. So it's better if you just sit there and basically have trust, man. Have that trust. That brother gonna lead you the right way.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially in that day, the times that we're going into. All right, say for instance, it's just you and one and the other brother, right? In the time of Jacob's trouble, say it's just you and one other brother. Are you gonna respect his? Are you gonna respect his word? Because that's really when it all that's when it matters the most. All right, that's when your brother's words are gonna matter the most, is when you're in a real life or death situation. Are you gonna follow that order? And this is the importance of establishing this now. Putting this in your spirit right now, so that in that day you'll be easily led. Okay, you'll be a good sheep. A good sheep is always gonna follow the shepherd. You
don't gotta yank them by the neck. Basically choke them out, willing to follow. And that's what, like the brother said, it goes back to the spirit of not being self-willed. Don't will upon yourself. Do what the will of the Father told you. All right, because we're all trying to follow the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And certain men, they have a closer relationship. Some men that maybe just came in, so they're not as familiar with the wisdom, certain peculiar wisdom aspects of the wisdom of the scriptures. So they may act through a point of simplicity and naiveness. They may be sincere, but still they haven't been seasoned to the point that they actually have the full understanding. And that's why the scriptures speak about do nothing without advice. Take counsel, take guidance from leaders. That's why you have men around you to sharpen you and to direct you and to help you in your walk. And that's what leads the two types of men, either to safety or to destruction. Because the man that actually gets led to safety, he listened. He took heed, he observed, he watched, and he followed closely the path of the leaders. And the man that actually got snatched up by the spiritual demon Satan, as the scripture says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride falleth to the condemnation of the devil, man.
Right.
So I got this scripture.
Yeah, just a little bit more. Okay. Are all, verse 29, are all apostles, are all prophets, are all teachers, are all workers of miracles? So basically, it's rhetorically saying, it's a rhetorical question, basically saying, does everyone have the same gift? No. Everyone, there's different diversities of the body. All right. And that's why a lot of times a brother can counsel you on certain things that are his strength, that you may not, you may lack wisdom or lack knowledge of how to deal in a proper situation, in a particular situation. But that brother has experience to basically help you get through it.
Yeah, you brothers got certain peculiar eyes, man. Every brother's eyes don't work the same through the spirit, in this ministry. You know, brothers have a high level of vision in different paths. Like, for instance, this brother may have had a high level of experience with women in his life. So he unsure of women. He understands how women can pull you out of your masculine spirit and how they can seduce you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he might have got caught up in a couple of snares and nets in his life in particular, and he sees a woman actually mending that same net on you. You know, working a web to catch you in it. He might tell you, "Hey, brother, I've been through that before. I know what this woman is doing. She's trying to catch you up, bro. She's trying to choke you, and don't take heed to that, bro. Don't do it that way. Do not do it that way. Do it this way." And with Jake, whatever, man. I know my boo.
That's what you call a head sprung.
Yeah.
I know my boo.
Head sprung.
But that would be Jake. Yeah, head sprung.
Yeah, just head sprung. Just got you. Just in love.
Mm-hmm. Or headstrong.
Headstrong. Yep. You got it, bro.
Okay, I got this scripture in Ephesians 2:20, and I just want to say too, and it comes through all aspects, because like the brother just spoke about, everybody doesn't have the same peculiar gift, because that brother may give you good wisdom on that aspect, but he may have a lot more experience in, say, for instance, certain worldly things where he knows you might get caught up in, and these are just still carnal things. Just think about when things play out in the end of society, where you have to listen to the man beside you. You have to take full counsel when you can't second guess.
Yeah, look at the movie Bird Box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that movie Bird Box is heavy because at the beginning of the movie, the lady Sandra Bullock, she told the kid. She said, "Look, listen to me," and basically giving them strict. She basically gave them strict directions, like if you take your blindfold off, you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing. We have to actually have that same respect, that same level of respect for the men. Our spiritual fathers, our spiritual, guardians.
Mm-hmm. And what happened? That little girl, she was listening to the voice, and she started to get off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
She almost got killed. Yep. And Sandra Bullock had to reprove the crap out of her, man. So I told you, not to do this, that. Had to chop her up in the spirit, man, because she knew the severity and she witnessed death. She witnessed all these things going on around her when she was impregnated with that child, when her friend was impregnated with her child. So she actually firsthand witnessed individuals dying through just foolish decision making. And she got her senses got exercised. That's why she could actually wear that blindfold, and she was still able to maneuver. And
she would be, just as an analogy, she would be on the level of an apostle. Mm-hmm. Someone who their senses exercise, like the brother said, someone who has a level of experience, and they're able to basically guide. And guess what? The young children in the movie, that would be the fruit.
That would be the fruit.
The younger men the younger men in the doesn't Yahweh Shai call them babes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the babes. And basically, sometimes you gotta be strict with the babes. Like, look, this is how you do it. Don't take your blindfold off. Give them strict directions. And then if they don't follow, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting to a point where that self-willed and that how do I say that stubborn,
leaning to your own understanding.
That stubborn spirit. We're getting to the point where if you carry that on, it could cost you your life.
Mm-hmm.
We actually knew a brother like that.
Mm-hmm.
That he had kind of a stubborn spirit. All right, and the Most High, took him, took him up. So
and that's the seriousness of it. We speak on things like the brother said. We even speak about things from previous experience, seeing things. We don't just. We're not just freestyling. These are experiences that we actually firsthand witnessed in this walk. But I got this scripture, Hebrews 5:13. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So certain brothers have a high level of skill when it comes to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Tells you that in Sirach, the the first chapter, I think the 18th verse, wisdom reigneth down skill. And a brother, through his wisdom, he actually can help maintain you in your walk. You know, just like if if your car is breaking down, you know, first and foremost, if you were a true mechanic, you could actually hear your car actually going through certain things. You could actually already catch it.
Hear the symptoms.
Hear the symptoms of it. But in most cases, you can't recognize that. Why? Because you don't have the skill of being a mechanic. So you have to go to a mechanic, and the mechanic will diagnose it and tell you, you know, okay, you know, whether it's your alternator going bad, certain parts of your car is actually messing up. But do you, this mechanic don't know what the hell he talking about. I know it ain't my alternator. It might be something else.
Yeah.
You don't never think like that. Why? Because this individual, he's took the necessary steps to actually master being that mechanic. Of course, you know, you in certain situations do happen where you actually go to multiple mechanics to get the full analysis, and one may tell you something different than the next. But it's all about the levels of experience, because some individuals do wing it, and that's why, you know, the scriptures speak about having multiple counsels. All right, and if it's backed by true sound wisdom, then you take heed and follow that. And how do you know a man that's actually in a full stage, in the full stages of being exercised? From what he tells you, and it comes to pass just like how he said it, man. Whether if the brother tell you, bro, don't do it this way, this is what's gonna happen. Do it this way, this is gonna happen. And if you don't do it, you see the exact same thing that happened when the brother told you about. Oh man, this brother, he has the eyes, man. He can see. Yep. He sees things steps ahead of time before they actually occur. He doesn't have to. And sometimes brothers don't even have to physically go through these things. They observed it so much from individuals around, and of course the scriptures. The scriptures are first and foremost.
Yep. And you know, if I could add to that, you know, as far as you know, brothers going against the grain in certain situations, you know, for you to do that, that's a lack of fear also.
Yep.
Because you know, here it is, you have a brother that's telling you to do it this way, and then yet you went the contrary. The brother telling you go right, brother telling you to go right, you went left. And that's lack of fear, because now you know in the back of your mind that the Lord basically, you know, that was the Lord telling you to go in a particular direction, to do it this way. I was like, the Lord, you want to go left? Okay. You know, and the Lord creates that scenario where what that brother said would happen is gonna happen.
Then you might end up getting locked up. You might get beat up. You know, you depending on what lane you roll into, what territory you run into in this world, it might cost your life, man. It's not, these ain't no game over video games. You could restart it, cut the game off, and cut it back on, and you get your lives back. You know, you play certain games back in the day before you die. You shut the game off and cut it back on, so you can actually keep your records clean. It's not like that in the truth, man. The one hiccup, the one spill, so to speak, one slip up can cost you your life, and that's dangerous. That's why the brother said that it initially starts with fear and trust. And if you don't fear and if you don't trust, you're gonna move off of your own self-will.
That's right. You got it.
And this is Ephesians 2:20. I'll start at 19. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High, and are built up upon the foundations of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. Yeah,
you're builded together for an habitation, you know, and that's the elect. The elect are basically one body. Okay, that's basically what that's saying. We're builded together, and you know, what did it say about growth?
Fitly being framed.
You know, so hey, everything is you know, everything has to be in unison. Like brothers always mention, you know, the instruments, how we're playing instruments. You know, you got some, you know, sometimes someone get out of tune sometimes. So brother has to, you know, basically correct them to get them back right, so they can, you know, get back on the right track.
And if you listen to music and you hear certain instruments out of tune, it messes up the whole track, man. You don't even want to listen to the song no more. It don't matter how much good instruments are actually in tandem. If it's one instrument that's just throwing off the synchronicity of the song, you don't want to hear it no more. So that's that's how one man can actually damage the whole machine, man. And that's why it's pivotal that you don't be that brother that's just out of place, that's just out of tune, that's not in sync, that's not in harmony. Learn to move in harmony and stay in harmony. But you know what happens is Jake likes to etch their own way in this truth. They want to establish themselves in this truth while actually maintaining something else. It's like, man, just stay focused on the path. Stay in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. All right, don't try to be double-minded. Don't try to do, and it goes back to ulterior motives, man. Jake have a lot of ulterior motives, and like you said, being self-willed, because the will stops becoming what they actually want to follow, which is the spirit of the Lord, but it starts to be that they follow their own will, and it leads them off the tracks of the truth, and it actually leads them towards destruction, man. You brothers add anything?
I got something real quick.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Yes, this is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. It says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. That the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Yeah, and if you see something thoroughly furnished, that's a deep cleaning, man. Just like if you have to clean a floor, do a thorough burnishing, or a thorough basically maintenance on the floor that's jacked up. Hey, when we came into this truth, we jacked up. And a lot of this grime and a lot of this dirt doesn't take 1 year to get off. It takes time, and that's why the brother beside you is essentially like your spiritual maintenance man. He comes in, does checkups, he examines, does the evaluation. Like, this need to be cleaned up in this brother, man. It's a lot of dirt. It's a lot of dross in the spirit. He got a lot of nigga sediments in him, man.
Symptoms.
Yeah, he got a lot of symptoms, and it's respectfully, but that's just how it is. We came out of the world. A lot of us brothers have been defiled for 20+ years before returning into this knowledge, man. So we're never clean until we actually fully get transferred out of this place.
Scriptures say a man shall be finer than gold. And the scriptures say we're gonna be tried in the fire. So that's how we're gonna better ourselves is through basically cleansing and purging out certain ways about ourselves. And one of the ones that we're focusing on in this particular subject is just attacking that self-willed and that pride spirit, moving on your own merit. Because things just flow better when you're moving with, like, for instance, even animals. Animals, how do they move? They move in herds. Okay. You don't, if you see that everyone is moving in one particular direction, why would you go turn around and move the other way?
Can I get one scripture? Of course. They go, let's see. Because just like the brother speaking about herds actually rolling and close pastures to actually wax successful and wherever they're in, whether it's a prey or whether it's pride, the prey actually stays in close knit because it actually helps them to survive longer. Just think of a sheep being an independent animal. There would be no more sheep in the world, man. Especially without a shepherd. They
have to stick together.
They have to stick. They have to stick together. Exactly. And this is Sirach 6:2. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying along. So don't extol yourself. Don't put your mind on a plateau where you feel like you just hired they Israelites, but I'm that Israelite. And like it says, in the counsel of your own heart, because you start to listen to that pride demon on yourself. And like it says, that thy soul be torn in pieces, because Satan is looking as a roaring lion, as it is written in 1 Peter 5:8, as a predator seeking whom he may devour.
That's right.
And a bull is prey to what? A pack of lions, man. It don't matter how big a wildebeest is. It doesn't matter how big a zebra is. You got animals that prey strictly on them. Oh, giraffes. Giraffes be up there, man.
Yep.
You take a good 10, 15 lions.
They'll bring it down.
Oh, they're gonna tear them down. They knock them legs off. They break up the stability. After the legs collapse, the whole building drops, man.
That's it. Yeah.
So it don't matter how strong you may be as an independent Israelite. You need a body, man. Look at these elites. Look at these devils. It ain't just one devil. It's a multifaceted conglomerate.
Yep.
Where they will all connect like an octopus system, man. And it is no independence. If any of them try to break off and do their own thing, what happened? They get blackballed and they end up losing their career. They lose their lives over that shit, man.
Yeah. Quickly.
Yep. Look at the mob. After you've been in so long, you can't leave, man. You can't just leave and do your own thing and think you're just gonna go back to regular civilization.
Yeah.
Like you've never been there. You know what happens with a lot of those individuals? They get killed. Now we're not saying we're the mob or anything like that. We're just giving comparisons of the severity and organization. This is a spiritual organization. The word organize, if I'm not mistaken, it goes into organ. You know, which is in tandem and one synchronicity, like we said earlier, man. So it's just like follow the path, follow the brothers, and listen, and actually, take heed so that you'll actually make it to the finish line without any type of damage, without having to go through all these different things and being broken up and beaten down. You brothers have anything, or is that
kind of? I got something.
Okay, we'll end it with that.
This is 1 Peter 2:2. As newborn babes, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. Right. So as newborn babes, going back to how we're likened as babes in this thing. Okay, we're young. Okay, we're trying to learn. How does a baby tell its guardian, how to, you're a baby. Like, what you mean? Oh,
and what happened to those badass kids? It's a law when children rebel. You have all right to kill that child. The stubborn and rebellious son, all you want to do is drink and be a nigga. Eat flaming hot Cheetos and just watch nigga shit. Yeah, drink up the soda. Here it is. You'll get fill the fridge up, leave for a little bit, come back, all the fucking food is gone. Nigga, and you go in a nigga room, nigga got plates all over the place, cigarette butts, ashes, clothes on the drawers on the floor.
Because he's rooted in that wickedness. And when you look at babes, right? What happens when a child is when they're under, let's say, like 7, 8? The parents are making all the decisions for the child. The child doesn't have no type of say so or nothing. Nope. If you're a babe, the parent decides what you eat, what you wear. Yep. What school you going to, all that stuff. So you don't really have, if you're a babe, you really don't have no type of say so. Yeah. You just have to follow what your parents are instilling in you, and then once you become a mature age, then you start to get a little bit more leniency. You start to be able to experience and you get a little bit of independent, so to speak.
Yeah, because the scriptures speak about in the Galatians how a man is under tutors and governors to the time appointed. Because you have to go through governors, going back to government, men ruling your mind and governing over you to the point where the Holy Spirit deals with you, as it tells you in 1 John. It said it comes to a point where no man has to teach you and basically give you all these the basic tutorials of the elementary school knowledge, because you got this Holy Spirit now. You've been around and you've been fastening yourself with this word. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what Yahweh Shai did with the disciples. Yahweh Shai basically he told the disciples, he said, look, pretty soon I'm not gonna be here. But the whole time Yahweh Shai was with them, what was he doing? Instilling leadership. He was basically showing them, being an example of how to operate, how to being a spiritual beacon of light, and basically, but the point is, he was prepping them so that they could be so that they can handle him not being around, him not being physically around, because they had the spirit at that point.
He had to enhance their skills, their spirit, you know, because they didn't have, their faith wasn't on the level. You know, Peter's faith wasn't on the level at that time with Yahushua.
He had to groom him.
He doubted. When he tried to walk on water, he almost sunk. You know, the disciples had to get rebuked constantly. Yahushua had to constantly get on them, but he was doing things to better their faith, to better their trust, and trusting Yahushua. Even Thomas, which he's known as doubting Thomas, because when Yahushua came back, Thomas didn't even believe that I was the anointed man. But what did Yahushua had to do? He had to rebuke Thomas and basically show, you know, the spirituality of Yahushua. And what did that do? That built them up on a high level when you go to the book of Acts.
And a lot of things that you know, the Lord will do to strengthen you, you may not fully understand, you may not fully grasp. Like, I'll give you an example, like you know, Karate Kid, right? When he was washing the car, doing the wax on, wax off, you know, he's like, yo, what you know, what is this? You know? But look, he had to basically, you know, put in that work, and then it wound up what? It instilled certain qualities in him. It instilled a lot of qualities in him that you know, ultimately got him to the point where he's at now. But you know, comparing it to the scriptures, it's the same way. There's gonna be a lot of ways that the Lord, you know, we may not fully understand. You know, we're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, why can't I just do it this way? But you know, there's gonna be a lot of things that the Lord is gonna take you through that you may not fully grasp. But that just goes to trusting the system. Follow the system. This is the system that works.
Following the spirit.
Following the spirit. You know, we have a proven spirit, like a proven system that works. All you gotta do is follow the script. Follow the script. It's all laid out behind you. Just follow the system. But you know, you got some people that just they don't like to follow the
follow order, man.
Follow the order, you know.
Yeah, rebellious children, and those men gonna be weaned out, man. If you walking in this truth and you want to go off of your own, you don't want to listen, and the Lord's gonna cut you out the fold, man. So this is a thing of fear. This is a thing of listening and taking the counsel without second guessing. Believe in the brother that's beside you. You know, whatever state you in, believe in your elder teachers, believe in your bishops, your captains. You know, put your trust in those brothers, man, and allow that spirit, allow those good characteristics them brothers hold to actually factor within yourself, because you need it. We need it. We all need to actually grow and to become on a higher level. None of us are perfect. We still need a lot more polishing, a lot more spiritual grooming, a lot more humility. You know. So none of us been caught up on a chariot like Elijah or Enoch. So we still here, or Yahushua. So we still here because we got a lot of work to do.
That's right. Okay. I'm gonna start at the top one more time. 1 Peter 2:1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice, all guile, and hypocrisies, and see that spirit really it aligns with these. Okay, hypocrisies. You know, being a hypocrite. You know, basically saying you about this truth, but you know your actions speaking differently. You kind of you know when brothers you know put the scope on you, we start to see, oh damn, okay, nah, he's not really, he's going the other way. He's not really moving with the flock. But it says and envies and all evil speakings.
And a lot of that stuff comes from the seeds of envy, the seeds of hypocrisy, like the scripture speaking about. That's why it says put those things away before you actually serve the Lord, because it's not going to marry you right when you're actually in the spirit, when you're actually in the ministry. You're going to show signs of envy. You're going to show signs of malice. You're going to show your signs of jealousy. If you're jealous of somebody, you can't really naturally follow them. You're going to come off insincerely. You're going to want to do your own thing. You're not going to want to listen to him because you don't trust in him. You're envious of him. So you want to outprove him and outshine him, and you're going to go off of your own directions.
And that's the spirit of all these break off camps. Really, all them break off camps from Great Millstone, they started in the spirit of envy.
It started from envy.
You know, basically like, damn, you know, just that inward and with rebelliousness and hatred.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna keep going. It says, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. Really, that's well. I'll keep going to
okay.
Verse 4. If so be ye have tasted the Lord is gracious, you have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom concerning as unto the living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious.
Yeah, the Lord was rejected. He was disallowed. He wasn't allowed to the communing of certain individuals. They didn't believe in Yahushua. You know, they didn't see him as the Hamashiach, but we believe him to be the Hamashiach, and we try to follow and fully put ourselves in the armor of the Spirit of the Lord. And like I said, even though he was rejected by many, he was still accepted as the chief cornerstone, and he still has glory in the heavens. So it's the same thing with us. Just because the brother beside you ain't driving the best car, he might be in a broke down house. You know, he might look bummy, but that brother's a king, man. That's going back to the vision.
Right.
And a lot of times Jake see that, like, man, this brother, you telling me this man that got $22 in his pocket, trying to tell me what to do. I got a full-fledged business. I'm an entrepreneur. Like a Mayweather, you can't teach a guy like that. You know, he doesn't see us as the royalty. He would look at us like low-class niggas. You know, we don't have any type of authentic luxury attire.
Yeah, and that's why Jake always walking past our camp. You know, older Jakes that just walk past, they're like, man, they don't know nothing.
Yep.
They got to go through more in life. That's how they think, because they just think they don't know. they don't see things from a spiritual perspective. Like, damn, you know, hey,
that karma.
Damn, they've been studying the Bible for how long? Damn, you know, they got the name of the Lord. These men are
building in the spirit.
Yeah, building in the
praying
spirit.
Together.
They just walk right past, not considering.
Purging our vessels from impure thoughts, refining each other's mind, and you know, structuring each other upon righteous qualities of the Lord. Man, Jake don't think about those things. They're looking at the external, man.
Yeah.
Instead of the internal.
What you got. That's the first thing that Jake looked at. What you got, kind of car you drive, what your woman look like. You know, but we worry about the spiritual aspect of things, man. Our brothers move, our brothers thinking. You know, what's your purpose? You know, why are you here? You know, these are the things that we're looking for, man.
That's right.
That's it.
Still a little bit more.
Nah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's all we have for you, Akim. Hopefully, brothers are edified. Stay in the spirit. Stay looking at the brother with a level of respect, and always humbly taking wise counsel from starting off with your apostles, your elders, and your captains, bishops, teachers, so on and so forth. So we want to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.